Hi everyone, this is Beth from Beth's Paper Cuts, and I'm happy to be making another tutorial for Splitcoast Stampers. Today I am doing the tied back curtain technique, and this is just a really fun fold that you can use to make an accent for your card. Just a really pretty fun element. It can look like a curtain on one side, you can do it on both sides. You can imagine it revealing something like a wedding announcement or a baby announcement, so it doesn't have to have an image in here. You can use a sentiment here saying, you know, announcing the birth of or wedding of. This one is just a cute little penguin saying, "You're absolutely amazing." I was kind of thinking he looked like a magician. Or you can just put a sentiment at the area where the curtain is tied back from. So it's just a fun little fold, and I want to show you how to accomplish it. So I want to show you two ways to do it. I want to show you how to do it when there's just one, and then I'll show you just a little tips for how to make it on both sides. So what you need is a piece of designer series paper, preferably double-sided, because when you have that fold, you get the back side of the curtain, which is really pretty. It doesn't show up as much on some patterns. Like this one, it barely shows, but it's still pretty. You can kind of get it peeking through there. It shows up really good on these high contrast colors. So think about what's going to be on the back and start with how big your card is going to be. For example, if you're going to make your card horizontal landscape, you want to have about 4 inches. If you're going to make it the tall version here, you can do it 5 1/4. So think about that. I'm going to do these horizontal. So this is 4 inches by 5 1/2. And what you want to do is use something with a scoring blade, score pal, score blade on your trimmer here. And you want to score every inch, then 1/2 inch. Inch, 1/2 inch, inch, 1/2 inch, which will leave me an inch left over. You're just going to go all the way down the length of your paper. Alright, now when you fold it, you want the 1/2 inches to be in the back. So the inch is going to be in the front, and that 1/2 inch is tucked behind. So you're just going to go accordion fold, back, forth, like so. Alright, now you want to cut into this so that it's kind of a drape going down. So I open it back up, and what you want to do is cut along, put your one corner on your trimming guide. If you're using scissors or you get a ruler, you can mark this off and cut with scissors as well. So you want to put that at about 1.5 inches, the one corner, and then the other corner can go along your blade here. And then when you fold it back up, you'll see that little pretty curtain look. Now I wanted to take the curtain idea even further by having it have a tie back. So I wanted it to gather. And you can't really push and gather paper so well. So we have to cut it and kind of fake that out. So for this card, I'm going to cut through the 1 inch panel, but as you'll notice, when I do that, I'm also cutting through what's behind it, which is that folded up pleat, that 1/2 inch, and part of this one. So when I open it up, I'm getting 2 inches because it was on top of this little bit here. Alright, so you want to cut that into it. Now here you're going to really benefit from a bone folder, but if you don't have one, you can maybe roll across it with a ruler. And this pattern paper kind of makes it hard to see what I'm doing, but hopefully once I start folding you'll see. You're going to want to take that cut and bend it over, fold it in half to the point of your side. So we're taking it and bending it over. I'm just going to fold it. And there's a couple layers here because you're going through this pleat, so you really want to get it down good. So that bone folder is going to come in handy. So, and the same thing on the top. So you're going to fold where you cut and then out to the corner and really get it down tight. All right, and there it is. There's the tied back curtain look. And then to complete that look, you need to tie it back with something like a ribbon or a piece of paper. Now I've chosen to use the same exact paper strip that's kind of peeking through here and using that as my tie back. So I've cut a little 1/2 inch strip, and you can just put that where your curtain is pulled back. And I'm just going to make sure it holds with the glue dot. Okay, now I want to show you some tips on how to put this on your card. So as far as the card goes, you can decorate it any way you like. I'm going to just use a piece. This is Blackberry Bliss cardstock. You can use a variety of fun images. I have already stamped a panel to put on here because I wanted to show you the technique of folding and not necessarily how to color. So I've already got this stamped and ready to go. And I'm going to just place that down. Now you're going to want to bias your images on this one depending upon what side your curtain's coming from. So I kind of have my images off to the right so that I can have the curtain on the left side. So to put this down, I have found that it's best, kind of holds the pleats together, if you use some tear tape. So here I'm going all the way across the top, and then I'm going to go down the side, kind of where the curtain would touch the wall. But I'm going to leave the middle here open. I am, however, going to help it stay flat by going across. This kind of holds your pleats in place, but you don't want to hold them completely in place because you like that idea of the kind of undulating fabric. I'm just going to place that down in the corner. Alright, now another tip for this is I like the idea of the bottom drape to be kind of free-flowing, but you do want to keep that top closed because that would, you know, technically be on a curtain rod, I suppose. So I also added a little bit of glue dot or adhesive. You could use any kind of liquid adhesive just behind the pleats, just so that they stay nice and flat. And there you have it. This is the single-sided curtain. Now let me show you how to do a double. Now for that one, I thought that it would be better to not have the curtain go out quite as far because I wanted to have a nice spot in the center for the image. So rather than have it be 5.5 inches wide, my cardstock, I cut it at 4.5. So we were going to trim an inch off of there. So basically one pleat. It's still 4 inches, so it was 4 by 4.5. You want to make sure you're scoring on the right one here, so I'm going to go, same thing, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and that's going to leave me with a 1/2 inch. I'm going to do that again. One inch, a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, leaving me with that 1/2 inch. Now on this one, you're going to still have that 1 inch be in the front. But because we've taken 1 inch off, this last pleat kind of is hidden, but it still shows up nicely when we cut our curtain. So on this one, you're going to want to make sure that you've got your curtains going the right way when you cut. This is the important tip for this one. Okay, so we've got both of these, and they're the same, but you want to make sure you turn one, because you want your pleats going the same way. And so what I did here, and you can cut this beforehand, I like to cut after I've pleated and then open it back up, just so that I make sure that my pleat or my cut is going the right way. For example, I want it to start at the 1 inch side, so this is going to be the shorter side, and then I want it to end on the side that has the little 1/2 inch area. So for example, it's going to be shorter up here, so that area needs to be, I kind of put it at the 1.5 inch mark, and then the bottom is going to be on the track. And now I'm cutting through 2 pieces of designer series paper at the same time. I think that's okay because it's kind of thin. That wouldn't work with cardstock, but you might have to if you cut and it didn't go all the way through. You can trim with your paper snips. So here I've got 2 different now curtains, and they're even, so my drapes line up nice. And then the rest is the same. Oh, I also like to cut. So remember how we cut our little kickback, our little curtain that's going back a little bit, and I cut 1 inch. Well, you want to go through both so that you want to make sure your curtains are even. You don't want, for example, you don't want the opening to be higher on one side and lower on the other. So they're nice and even. I cut through both layers at the same time. And I like to do it folded up because I like to imagine where that little curtain is going to kick back. So yeah, you're going to go through there. You're going to cut through that first 1 inch, which also cuts through behind it. And then the rest of the card assembly is the same. So let's do it again. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure that it stays nice and flat. I really like the high contrast of the colors on this one. I'm folding back. Sometimes that bone folder comes in handy to help you fold too. Okay, and then I'm going to add that tie back. And I'm using the same paper, just the back side. Now I'm noticing that my strip here doesn't have any of the little anchors in it, so I'm going to see if I have a little scrap and cut a new strip. And that was just a scrap. I think it was Yeah, that was 3/8 of an inch. That was a skinny little strip that was laying in the bag. There we go. I want to see that I got them even. I did. And again, that tear tape's going to help hold everything in place. Go across the top. I'm going to go kind of across the center. And down the side. And again, I've got a card base already ready to go. I'm imagining this person's on a cruise and thinking of the people back home. Alright, now again, if you wanted to, you can add a little bit of adhesive behind the top pleats. And there you have it. There is the tied back curtain technique. I hope that you'll give it a try. If you do, there's a gallery set aside at Split Coast Stampers, and you can see other cards using this fun fold. And if you would love to, I would love to see what you make. So please share what you've created in the gallery also, and upload your card to that tied back curtain gallery. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.